Look, when I was in my 20s, I thought making money was the hard part. Man, I was so wrong. Making money is easy compared to keeping money, growing it, and making it work for you. What I'm about to share with you isn't some theory from some finance and some textbook. Man, this is the hard-earned lessons someone like me lived through having both sides of wealth. First money rule, cash flow is king, profit is just an option. When I was young, I thought profit meant I was rich. I'd look at my P&L and think, man, we made $100,000 this month. We are killing it. And then I'd wonder why it came time and I looked at my bank account, we couldn't pay the bills. Here's the brutal truth. You can be profitable on paper and still go broke. You can even have millions of dollars in receivables and still cannot be able to make payroll. I'm in the auction business and we consistently are floating millions of dollars. I have dealers that are selling 200 to 300 cars a week that are upwards of $4 to $5 million worth of cars. And I've got to write checks for these cars immediately. And I don't get paid until there's a transfer of title, and sometimes that can take anywhere between 3 to 6 weeks. I'm profitable on every transaction, but if I don't manage my cash flow properly, I'm dead. Cash flow is the oxygen for your business, and without it, all you're going to do is suffocate. You know these numbers every single day. How much cash do you have right now? How much is coming in this week? How much is going out this week? Your cash conversion cycle. Do you understand what that means? Profit is what your accountants calculate. Cash flow is what keeps you alive. Focus on your cash flow first. Profits always need to be focused on second. Profit is what accountants calculate. We're here to do what we need to calculate. Cash flow is what keeps you alive. So focus on your cash flow. Profit will follow second. Second rule, man, live below your means, even when you're rich. This one cost me everything. When I sold my company for the first time for 8 figures, I thought, man, I'm set for life. I'm 38 years old, I'm rich, I'm ready to live like it. I didn't change my lifestyle though. I upgraded it. I got a bigger house, took more expensive trips, luxury was everything. I was living like I still had that monthly paycheck coming in, but man, that paycheck stopped when I sold my company and I didn't realize that. Uncle Sam came in next and he took his bite, and let me tell you, he's got some big teeth. All those things that I got that my business provided for me for free, they're gone now. And I'm sitting here living with a smaller pile of money that I have coming in, and I'm spending it because I'm living a bigger lifestyle. Here's what nobody tells you about selling your business. You go from having unlimited business expenses to having 0 business expenses, but guess what? The difference now is everything comes out of your personal pocket now, not from the company. The wealthy stay wealthy by living below their means, not at their means. Hey, Warren Buffett still lives in the same house he bought back in 1958. And that's not being cheap, that's just being smart. But don't get me wrong, Warren Buffett's still flying private and living life pretty damn good. I could have had an office that looked like I was in a glass tower, but I didn't. Instead, I chose to work out of a practical office at my auction. I could have driven a $200,000 car, but no, I don't care what I drive. I'll just drive anything that'll get me from A to B and it has gas. Every dollar you don't spend on your lifestyle is a dollar you can invest into assets. That is the biggest thing I learned. Live like you're still building wealth even after you've built it. The third money rule, invest in assets, not liabilities. Most people think they're investing when they're actually just spending. A liability takes money from your pocket every single month. Guess what? An asset's different. It puts money back into your pocket every month and it sits there and appreciates over time. That's a simple fact. Your house is not a good asset, it's a liability. It costs you money every month in a mortgage, in taxes, in insurance, maintenance. It doesn't pay you anything. Your house can be an asset, it's not really a liability. You just need to put your house in an LLC and lease it back to yourself. And then the house, all the expenses that go with it, those become tax deductions. And you're set up a lot better that way. So your house can be an asset for you. It's a reoccurring monthly income. Here's what I think about everyday purchases. does this make me money or does it cost me money? If it costs money, I better have a damn good reason for buying it. Every time I go in and buy an auction, I buy the real estate at the same time because see, now I have two businesses. The auction makes the money and the real estate appreciates. I sell the auction, I keep the real estate, I collect mailbox money every month from the real estate. That's force multiplication right there. One investment, two income stream. The auction pays for the real estate and the real estate builds wealth. Before you buy anything expensive, ask yourself, is this an asset or a liability? If it's a liability, you better be able to afford it without touching your investment money. Start small, buy rental properties, invest in a business, buy some stocks that pay dividends. That's very important. Build you a good little portfolio of things that pay you, not that cost you. Fourth money rule, diversify your income, not just your investments. Everyone talks about diversifying your investment portfolio. That's important, but what's more important? Diversifying your income sources. When I sold my first company, I went from multiple income streams to zero. The streams cut off overnight. I was living off principal instead of income, and that's a recipe for disaster. It froze. When I sold my first company, I went from multiple income streams to zero. Everything stopped overnight. I was living on the principal of my income, and that's just a recipe for disaster. Now I have multiple businesses. I have auctions in 4 different locations. I have real estate. I've got investments on the side. I have consulting income and other ventures that I'm involved in. If one income stream gets hit, the others keep flowing. Here's what most people don't understand. The wealthy, they don't just have jobs. They have income producing assets. They have their business. They have real estate. They get royalties. They get dividends. They have income coming in from far more streams. My auction business generates operating income. My real estate generates rental income. My investments, that generates dividends and other incomes. But guess what? My expertise in consulting, that generates income as well. You want to get to that point where you have so many income streams that losing one doesn't matter. That true financial security is because you've built a financial fence around your businesses. All right, start building your second income stream, but make sure it aligns with what you're doing with your first income stream. And if you're sitting there and you're trying to already build a business, make sure that that aligns with the business that you're building because you don't want to distract from that. But don't wait till you either lose a job or anything before you start looking at alternatives. This could be a side business, rental property, freelance work, royalties from intellectual property that you've invented. The key is just starting before you need it. Number 5 of the money rules, understand the difference between good debt and bad debt. In my 20s, I thought all debt was bad. Man, was I wrong. The wealthy use debt as a tool to build for more wealth. Bad debt is bad debt, and bad debt costs you money every single month, and it doesn't generate you any income. You've got credit cards, car loans, personal loans. That's what bad debt is. Now, good debt is debt that pays for itself, and it generates income, like real estate mortgages, business loans, equipment financing. That's good debt if used properly. When I buy an auction, I don't pay cash, even if I could. I get a loan because, see, this preserves my cash for other investment. The auction generates enough income to pay the loan and still make a profit. Here's the key. Good debt should always generate more income than it costs. If I borrow money at 6% to buy something that generates 12% return or more, now that's smart money return on my debt. Bad debt makes you poor every month. Good debt, it makes you richer every month. What you need to do is you need to learn the difference between the two types of debt and use it strategically. But here's the warning. Debt amplifies everything. If you make good decision, debt makes you richer faster. If you make bad decision, debts will make you poor way faster. Only use debt if you understand exactly how you're going to pay it back and you're using profit from it. 6th money rule. Automate your wealth building. You can't rely on willpower and good intentions. In my 20s, I had good intentions and I was about saving and investing. Yeah, wrong. I was going to put money aside every month. I was going to be disciplined. I was going to build wealth. Man, but then life happened. Unexpected expenses, business opportunities I didn't know about, lifestyle inflation, gotta be flashy. And at the end of the month, It was all gone. There was no money left to invest. Here's what changed, and changed everything. I automated it. Money gets moved into investments account before I can touch it or spend it. I pay myself first automatically. Every month, money automatically goes to these things. Emergency fund. That's 6 months of expenses set aside no matter what. The investment account has 20% of my income goes into that every month regardless. We have a real estate fund that I've set up for myself for real estate property investments every single month. I have my business expansion fund for acquisitions down the road. I never see this money. It's in my checking account. It's gone before I can see it and before I can spend it on something stupid. So the key to this is making it automatic and make it hurt a little. If you're not hurting a little, that means you're not saving enough. Start with whatever you can, even if it's just $100 a month. It's not the amount that matters, it's the habit that matters more. Once the habit is established, you can increase the amount every single month. Compound interest, the eighth wonder of the world. Write it down, live it, breathe it, do something. Just remember this, it wasn't taught to you early enough in life, but it works. If you consistently feed it, you automate it, you ensure that it feeds back into your account every month no matter what. Compound interest works. Seventh money rule, invest in yourself first. This is the highest ROI investment you'll ever make in your life. I'm on track this year to read 52 books. I attend every mastermind event I can, every conference, every event that brings me to be a better leader. I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars investing in myself for an education that I can give to my employees and to my staff. If I had had a mentor when I was in my 20s, without a doubt, I can promise you, I would be sitting in a whole different place in a whole different world with a whole lot more cash. Your skill, your knowledge, your network, these are the only assets that can never be taken away from you. The stock market, it can crash. Real estate, yeah, it can decline. Yeah, your business, it can fail. But what's in your head, that's yours forever. Every dollar I've invested in learning has returned me hundreds of thousands in results. Books, courses, mentors, masterminds, they've all paid for themselves many times over. The knowledge I gained from one of my $25,000 mastermind events, it helped me structure a deal that saved me $500,000 in taxes. That's a 2,000% return on my investment. Where else are you going to get that? But it's not just about the money. Investing in yourself builds confidence. It expands your thinking. It opens doors that you don't even think ever existed. Start with books. That's the cheapest education you can get. Then courses, then mentors, then try masterminds. Each level, it builds you up one more level than the previous one did. The best time to invest in yourself is when you can't afford it. That's when you need it the most. These aren't money rules. These are wealth building principles. Follow them, you'll build wealth. Ignore them, you'll struggle financially just like you have been all along. I learned these rules the hard way, through failure, through loss, through expensive mistakes that I made. You can learn these the easy way by listening to me and implementing them and starting today. The difference between people who are building wealth and the people who stay broke, it's not income, it's the principles they have. I know people that are making $50K a year and they're building wealth, and I know people who are making $500K a year and they're living broke. It's not how much you make, it's what you do with what you make. Look, I just gave you 7 money rules that took me decades and millions of dollars in mistakes to learn. This isn't a theory, it actually works. But here's the brutal truth. Most of you, you'll watch this video and they say, hey, that makes sense, but guess what? You'll change nothing. You'll keep making the same money mistakes I made. But a few of you that take this seriously, you'll pick one rule and start implementing that this week. You'll see the results and you'll build a momentum from that. See, it only takes that one rule to get started, and then you'll come back, you'll go to that next rule, and you'll start that stair step. So here's your homework. Pick the rule that hit the hardest for you. Write it down, specific actions you're going to take this week to implement it, and then do it. If you're serious about building wealth, guys, hit the subscribe button. I'm going to keep sharing exactly what my strategy are and my systems that I use to build my financial empire. Remember, it's not about making more money, it's about making the money you have work harder for you. These 7 rules are simple to understand, but man, they're hard to implement. So the implementation of them is what separates the wealthy from everyone else. So let's stay consistent, stay successful, and let's build wealth.